Do I still believe in the future of HBAR? Absolutely, because $3, that's still my price target for HBAR during this bull run. And some people oftentimes like to say, oh, wow, take a look at Hedera. No activities going on with Hedera, right? They think it's caca, they think it's trash. And now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, the data does speak for itself. And the data showcases that there's still a lot of activity going on with Hedera. Just take a look at, for instance, as of December 19th, Hedera was actually number 3 in the world in terms of development activity, beating out, by the way, giants like Polkadot, Cardano, Optimism, and much more. This is how amazing Hedera is. Sometimes people like to say it's trash, it's caca, but I completely disagree. I think it's arguably one of the best projects out there. And just think about this, right? People oftentimes, they move in trends. They think about what is the next big thing, so to speak. And we've seen this happen time and time again. People love Bitcoin. They move on to Ethereum, right? A layer one blockchain. They like NFT projects, DeFi projects, AI projects. But I think it's only fair to assume that the next evolution could very well be a directed acyclic graph, much like Hedera hash graph, because oftentimes people think that, this is something that is complete trash and they think that it's never going to gain adoption. And granted, its adoption isn't going to defeat like blockchain technology, in my opinion, in the next 1 to 2 years or even like the next 5 years. But it doesn't really matter because think about this, right? What widespread adoption did NFTs have, really? Primarily known for, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Yacht Club, but even really beyond that, NFTs haven't gained mass adoption yet. It hasn't really gone mainstream yet in a sense, right? It's big in the crypto space, but it's not really big in the mainstream space, so to speak. But still, even despite that, we see many amazing DeFi projects pop off, many NFT projects, also blockchain gaming. That hasn't really popped off yet as well, in my opinion. But still, nonetheless, during a fully fledged bull run, the anticipation for that alone is already enough. So when it comes to Hedera hash graph, again, being a directed acyclic graph, which all metrics, by the way, indicates that when compared to, let's say in cases of blockchain technology, it's typically just a lot better. Usually the data storage is very amazing. You take a look at the scalability, the speed, also on top of that, the energy consumption. All of this right here is very amazing when it comes to a directed acyclic graph. And Hedera hash graph, again, it's exactly that. That's how amazing it is. And now some people may think that, okay, the benefits are good and all, but who's even really going to use this? Now, in my opinion, it's only fair to assume that moving forward, there's going to be more developers that are going to pop up. There's going to be, more crypto owners. And I think naturally, as a result of that, I think many of these developers, they're going to take a look at a place like Hedera to build, maybe. And we're already seeing sign of that as of right now. The fact that Hedera Hashgraph doesn't use traditional blockchain technology and still, again, even despite that, is ranked number 3 in the world, at least as of December 19th, in terms of crypto development activity. I think that, if anything, showcases just how amazing Hedera Hashgraph actually is. Because again, even not having that mainstream adoption yet, it's already top 3 in the world. In this case, again, only, right? This is such a great sign. Imagine 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, once, a lot more people start understanding just how special Hedera is, being consistently, let's say, ranked number 1 on a month-to-month basis, I really wouldn't see why that'd be too shocking. Because again, there's so many projects out there, again, that kind of feel a little bit repetitive. But when it comes to Hedera, man, this is just so special. It's so unique. And I think that it could very well be such a big narrative, not only in the future, but I think during this bull run, because again, people often look for the next best and most interesting thing. And Hedera Hashgraph, it's exactly that. Not to mention, people oftentimes like to say, oh, leadership matters a lot. Take a look at Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple, all this type of stuff. Well, Hedera just takes things to a whole nother level. You got to take a look at how their governing council includes Google, Boeing. And yes, I'm talking about like the airplane company. Take a look at Mondelez. Mondelez is massive. If you know Oreo, Cliff. I mean, those are the brands of Mondelez. So that right there is amazing. Take a look at LG. You take a look at Dell Technologies. I mean, this is how amazing Hedera is. People often underestimate it, but I think it's arguably one of the best projects of all time. Now, granted, do I think that Hedera is going to be like the best performing project out there in the next 6 months to a year? Absolutely not. Like, for instance, when I take a look at HBAR, going to the price of $3, that right there is, some people would say, only around a 10x from here. Now, it's not so bad because as of right now, we're seeing many altcoins have a big dump. HBAR is still holding relatively strong. Not that it would really matter anyways. Like, let's say HBAR dropped like 40% or whatever. It still wouldn't mind because I'd still just accumulate more. Because again, $3, that is still my price target for this bull run. So that really wouldn't concern me, again, if the price did go lower. But let's say it didn't go lower. Let's say it starts stabilizing, going up and down, a little bit volatile. Still, I wouldn't mind. I'd still accumulate more. And then on top of that, again, $3 is still my price target, because for something this special, I don't see why that's too much to ask for. And doing, let's say, an additional 10x from here, considering how much HBAR is pumped, much like I predicted, by the way, I don't see why that'd be so bad. Now, some people may think, oh yeah, is the journey to the top going to be smooth sailing? No, it's not, because I think there's going to be multiple pullbacks along the way, at least, again, on the way to $3 for this bull run, because even if you take a look at Bitcoin, going from the price of $1, believe it or not, it was once at the price of $1, it's not like it went from $1 all the way to over 100 grand straight shot. That wasn't the case, right? Multiple pullbacks along the way. And of course, along the way, sometimes people, they take profits because they don't see the long-term vision. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but personally for me, what I've been seeing with a lot of altcoins out there is that they do a 4x, they do a 5x. A lot of people, they take profits. Now, they think that that's the ceiling, but in my opinion, the true party begins over a 10x rate after that happens. Now, that's just my point of view, at least in the world of cryptocurrencies, because if I was looking for like a 4 or 5x, I'd be in stocks. If I was looking for like a 2 or 3x, I'd be in like the S&P 500 or something like that. However, that's not what I'm looking for. Some people, they're looking for that, and they treat like cryptocurrencies like stocks or like, S&P 500, but it's a little bit different in my opinion. I get it, hypothetically at the end of the day, they are investments, but cryptos, just because it's not that developed yet, because, the nature of the projects are a lot more interesting, arguably, in my opinion, the room for growth feels a lot more dynamic. And also on top of that, when I take a look at something like HBAR, I do believe that it's very special because exposure is amazing, listed in a bunch of major exchanges, community is fantastic, the amount of holders is very impressive. So I do really like this. Now, oftentimes people like to say that, oh yeah, when it comes to Hedera, the transactions per second, it's so caca. Well, here's the thing. Hedera may not see that much traffic on it as of right now, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it can't handle it, because Hedera's native services can reliably scale up to 10,000 transactions per second and even beyond. Again, it doesn't mean that it can't handle that, but it's just not seeing that much as of right now. But you know what? During a fully fledged bull run, people usually don't care. They more so care about the anticipated adoption as opposed to current adoption, if that makes sense. And by the way, HBAR at the price of $3, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $115 billion, which isn't too bad. We've seen Ethereum reach over $550 billion. We've seen, Dogecoin reach over $80 billion. We've seen BNB reach over $100 billion. I don't think it's too much to ask for, especially with more cryptocurrency owners than ever before in history. According to Crypto.com research, over 600 million. I think this bull run could be so special. Now, I think this altcoin season is still in second gear. Imagine once it goes into third, fourth, or even fifth, sometime in 2025, hypothetically, man, I think the sky's the limit. And again, HBAR at the price of $3 during this bull run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.